Hey guys, good morning. Hope every one of you is doing well. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, let's go ahead and we will be talking about the databases today. Okay, so it's night at it's late at night in my time zone. Okay, Ernest, then good evening. I cannot say you good night, right? You have to be there with me for next 2 years, 2 hours, sorry. Okay, now let's start and we will be talking about the databases. Now, what is a databases or what is a database? Can anyone tell me what is a databases? And what is a data is? Data is any collection of objects is a data, right? Anything which is a collection of any objects like your details about you, or whenever you write a notes, that is also data. I'm teaching you, I'm writing the notes, and then you are also writing the notes. That's a data you're maintaining. What is a database? Database is an organized collection of structured information. Organized collection of information or data stored electronically in some computer systems, servers, I can say. System. Okay, databases are basically essential for storing and retrieving data in many applications from website or mobile applications to the enterprise systems. Okay, now see, you have some data. Let's say you have some collection of data. I will talk about my collection. Let's say I have Akshat. My name is Akshat. My data, let's say, government has my data. Let's say, have my income, my passport number, the cars I own, the house I own. Okay, then the my extra details. Okay, my family details. That is the data. They are randomly arranged, but when government will put it in a proper format to utilize it in the later stages, that's a database. They put like there's a table, they let's say they created it. They say, okay, Akshat, with this passport number, with this house, this number of house, this number of cars, this is the income, these many are the family members. So they're arranging my data in a proper and a systematic order. That's a database. Arranging the data in a proper order is basically a database. Okay. Okay, that's a database. Now, when I say what types of databases we have, so we have majorly two kinds of database. One is a relational database. One is a relational database. One is a non-relational database. One is a relational database and one is a non-relational database. A relational database is a structured database, which is basically the data which is organized in rows and columns. Organized in tables, which is rows and columns. So proper structuring columns. Whereas in the case of non-relational database, it is used for unstructured or semi-structured data. So there's another one which is non-relation, non-structured database. I will take an example to make you understand. Used for unstructured just a minute. Used for unstructured or semi-structured or unstructured database. Like you can save the data in the same form of document. You can save it in the key value pairs. You can save it in the wide columnar database. Okay, wide column stores. You can save it in the graphical format. So it would be a graph kind of database which is there. Okay. So data which is organized in tables. So whenever you're saving the data in rows and columns, where the schema of these tables are it's same. So if I say there is a table, I will be saving the data. There would be some metadata, let's say serial number, name, address, okay, city, income, job. So let's say one. So in when you're saving the data in this particular format, then definitely that's a relational database and the structure is same. So if next time, I will explain you that part, but yeah, if next time a new entry wants to come in with an extra column, with a new column there, then I cannot put it here because the structure of the table is fixed. Structure of the table is fixed. So this structure of this particular table would be fixed in the case of relational database. Okay. Are you understanding? Are you getting it? Now I will just talk. I will just give you some examples. Okay. Let me just take an example for you to understand where I can go ahead with the relational. I will explain you in detail. Okay. But let's talk about a case study so that you have a better understanding of when I should be going ahead with the relation and when I should be going ahead with the non-relation databases. So when I say relational databases, I will take one example. There is a case study one, which is an e-commerce platform. Let's say e-commerce platform. Okay. Now, let's say there is a particular e-commerce company which is named as Shop Now. Okay, this is an e-commerce company, which is an online retail company that sells some wide range of products to customers worldwide. The company has millions of customers, orders, and the product listing. And what they need to do is they need to store the data about their customers, orders, products, and inventory. So what they want to do is they need to store the data. Okay, they need to store the data about their customers, orders, products, and inventory. Okay. Now, they also want, since let's say they have a customer data, when someone orders, that should be mapped automatically, right? Let's say I will take an example. There is a customer. In customer data, there is a table named Akshat. In the table, there is a customer named Akshat with some unique ID, and he lives in, let's say, India. Okay. In order, when next time when Akshat orders, let's say Akshat ordered something, let's say some Apple AirPods. Okay. Automatically, it should be mapped. It should be mapped here. This customer table is automatically mapped with the order table. This product table should automatically be mapped with the product table. All these things I need a proper mapping between the tables and the inventory. Okay, so we should have like a customer data table. We should have a product data table. We should have a order data table. All these things I need it. So in this cases, I should be going ahead and I would be using, in this case, I will be going ahead with the relational databases. Relational databases, where first of all, the connection can be built between the tables. Okay. Second thing, okay, the one is the connection which can be built. Second is here we can use SQL queries, which will allow us for some complex connections which is there. And I want to retrieve some customer data, or I want to do some analysis that how many times, let's say, Akshat have purchased from the Shop Now application. So what I can do, I can basically, so we need to keep the data in a proper structure as tables would be interconnected with each other. Okay. And relational databases are also SQL databases where you can write some SQL queries, structured query language. SQL queries allows complex connections, joins, we call them joins. Those who are not aware about SQL, like we don't have to actually worry about it. It's a different technology, but it's still like I want to get some data out. Let's say you have a bulk of data, you have a 1 million data. Out of that, you want to get some data. So there we use SQL. We write some queries, select star from or select this specific entries from this particular table. Okay. So SQL queries allows complex joins and reporting such as retrieving a customer's complete order history or generating the reports. In easy words, if someone asks you that, okay, this is something, a case study I've explained you, but someone asks you in easy words, like, what do you understand? When should I be going ahead with the relation database? The answer is very simple. The answer is really simple. When the overall structure of the table is constant and remains the same, then we will be going ahead and we will be using relational. See, whenever in this e-commerce, when a customer data is being saved, it will have the limited entries. It's not like the customer will add up new entries by himself while signing up. So if there are, let's say, if when I sign up on that website, I have to put my name, my address, my phone number. So these are fixed only. I cannot just add up, let's say I have a choice of adding up new city also. No, right? It's fixed. Or when I order something, the data is fixed or data is saved in a proper way, right? What is a product? What is a price? How much discount? All these things are present in this order table. And product, when someone lists the products, the the overall structure will also remain the same here. It's not like anyone can add up or delete any specific object because overall in the case of relation database, the structure remains the same, the schema. I will talk about it, what is schema. But are you getting it? Are you able to understand what I'm trying to explain it in here? Database is just a way to manage your database. We have two types of databases available in case of AWS database types. We have a relation database where we are saving the data in SQL, or it's a proper structure, rows and columns. Let's say a table format, but the structure remains the same. I cannot add a new column in this table. I have to create a new table only. So in those cases, this if my data keep on adding, plus and minus keep on happening up, then relation database is something which I cannot use. I should be going with a non-relation databases. Please take a note of it and tell me if you are getting it. I will explain you once again with a different example. In relational database, schema is fixed, which is a structure. Structure of the table is fixed. Okay. Anyone who is not understanding this? Okay. Now, see what happens in the case of relation database. Let me just take a very simple example. where I will show you what is the meaning of schema is fixed. Okay, when I say schema is fixed, what do I mean by that? Let's say there is a table which has a serial number, which has a name, which has the address. Three entries are there in this particular, let's say there is in this table. Okay, that's it. Three entries are there. And now I have a database with a name. We have a database name. Let's say my database, which has a table with the name customer table. Now, if this customer data is not fixed, which means the customer has that option to decide some entries. Okay, so let's say next time customer is putting some data, let's say John, okay, at city is Delhi, address is Delhi, and let's say annual income is $2 million. This is an entry which I want to add it up here. But the problem is, if I add it up, I need to add up a new column in this customer table. But schema is fixed, which means if this table has three columns, so I cannot add up a fourth column. If the table has three columns, then we cannot add the fourth column like that. This is an example. Okay, so I need to either create a new table, which is really something I don't want it. I have to create a new table with serial number, name, address, and salary. Now I have to create another table with customer table 2, which is really very difficult for me later on to identify all the tables when the structure of the data coming is not fixed. Structure could be anything, right? I could have some more entries also in the case when I'm giving an option to the customer to fill up the details of their choice. Then in that case, relation database, I cannot use it. I should be going ahead with a non-relation database. But if I take an example of relational databases, which we are using. So the example of relation database is relational database is MySQL. Okay, we have Postgres, SQL, Aurora DB. These are engines, okay? These are engines which are there. We have Oracle SQL and etc. These are some of the relational database servers. Okay. Databases which we have. Please take a note of it. Now, these are basically the engines which are there, which is installed in a particular server, and then they manage the database for you. You are getting it right. Please read it out what is there on your screen and tell me if you are able to understand it clearly. Now, okay, those who are writing it, please take a screenshot. See, there are two ways how you can work with the databases. There could be a website running in a different server. First way, self-managed relation database. I'm talking about relation right now, RTS. Okay. Relation database, not RDS. RDS is a service, okay? Relational database. Let's say, like example is MySQL, let's say. Self-managed means I will create an EC2 machine. We will create an EC2 machine. We can create an EC2 machine. We can install MySQL or any other, let's say Postgres SQL, anything. Okay, I'm just giving an example as MySQL. We can install this MySQL inside this machine. And let's say there is a front end which is running up, or there's an application which is running up, which can communicate with it, which can talk to this particular. Yes, yes, Deepak. Okay. So what happens in the self managed database, we can create an EC2 machine. We can create an EC2 machine. We can create an EC2 machine and install database engine like MySQL, Aurora, Postgres, etc. in that machine. Here you need to take care. Here you will take care. I'm telling you because in the real time, it could be anything. Okay. Here you will take care of security. You will take care of backups. You will take care of availability. Here you have to take care of disaster recovery. Means everything you will take care of and etc. Which means this database is very important for every company. Now, this you can use it. Everything you will have to take care of. But the cost is low. Cost is very less because you are managing everything. Cost is very less. Cost is less. But ultimately, you will not be using this if your data is very critical. If your data is like, if you're launching some polls, let's take an example, a polls I am launching. Let's say someone is visiting my website and we are asking, do you like this movie or do you like this product? How many people are saying yes or no? That I can save it here because it's not a very critical data. If by chance I lose that data also, it's not a big problem. But if I lose customer data, that's a big problem. So I will not be using or saving my very critical data in this format. But I can, let's say there is, in my application, there is a simple task which is going on. I'm running some polls, I'm running some quizzes, I'm running some fun activities that I can do it in this way. It can reduce my cost to a very great extent. Okay, you are understanding, please confirm. This is the first point, which is self-managed. Please take a note of it. Okay. Second point is, I'm deleting it now, is AWS managed database service, which is, I call it as an RDS, relation. I'm only talking about relation right now. I have not started with the theory of the non-relation databases. So it's an RDS, which is relation database service, S will service. Earlier, we were talking about relation databases. We have a relation database service now. Database service. It's a AWS managed service. It's a AWS managed service to install and create a database. So what exactly this RDS will do? It will, okay, we will launch a service which will, we will launch the service. May I know what kind of hardware is being used for MySQL? It's a like normal hardware, the EC2 machines, the hardware which EC2 machines are using. In fact, you can install, or you, like people, the developers install the MySQL when they are working locally on their laptops only, or Postgres also in the laptop only. So as such, there is no specific hardware configuration which is being required. You can go for the traditional or the latest one as well. It actually is not a concern. Okay. It's just a software to manage your databases. Okay. If you Google it also, you will find how to install the MySQL. It's a software which is there. Even you can use it in the containers, right? If you're talking about Docker containers, absolutely you can use it. So we will use relation database services. So here though, you don't have to install anything. Okay, AWS will manage and install everything. So here we will create RDS service. We will launch RDS service wherein AWS will launch a server on the backend. On the backend, you will not have access to it with database engine like MySQL, okay, Postgres SQL, or etc. Okay, so with database engine installed in it, you don't have to manage in any particular way. Installed in it, AWS takes care of availability. Okay, takes care of availability, takes care of disaster recovery, takes care of backups, takes care of other stuff like performance, etc. AWS does not compromise on it. Billables would be really higher because there is no compromise on your database. So you will have the best services, you will have good billables. So we have an RDS service, which is a relational database service, where I will launch RDS service. Okay. AWS will provide me endpoint to access the service. Okay, I can, let's say I can connect it. My developers can actually connect it with the front end. My application, my developers can connect it, that endpoint. Developers can connect the application front end with database endpoint receive, so that my system will be able to communicate with my database. I will show you this lab. Okay, this connection also I will show you. But my developers will be doing that connection. I don't have to do it, but just to have that more clarity on the concepts, I will show you that as well. So this is a very secure, yes, one of the best services I can say is there. Very important service. You will expect a lot of questions coming on to this particular point, which I have discussed till now with you in your certification exam. You can expect a lot of questions on this particular pointers. Any questions till this point here? Now, any questions, guys? Please confirm. Anyone is not able to understand anything here? How RDS is different from other databases? So we have another is non-relation database, which is there. You're talking about RDS as a engine or what? RDS is a service offered by AWS. Which databases? Sorry, there is another database, Shiva, which is okay, which is basically the relational database and a non-relation database. When you don't have a proper structure, okay, if you don't have a proper structure of the databases, then you will be going ahead with the relation database. When you don't have a proper structure, then you can go for the non-relation databases. And when you have a proper structure database, then you will be going for the relation database. I've already explained that particular concept, Shiva. If you have joined late, I will request you to please refer to the recording once. I've discussed about two, like one case study of when we are using an e-commerce. Okay. Aurora is basically a database engine. Okay. Aurora is basically a database engine. Aurora DB is a database engine, which is there. MySQL, Postgres, Aurora DB. This actually being taken care by the developer only. They will just tell me that, okay, this is a database which we are using. Okay. Database engine. Basically, this database engine is something which we are going to use, and I just need to configure it. But yes, Aurora DB will provide me very high performance, availability, and scalability, and it is compatible with MySQL. So whenever a particular person joins IT industry, most of the people go through this MySQL trainings. So I am assuming that people who are working as a software developers, all of the people know about MySQL. So this makes it for them to be little comfortable with these particular concepts. No, billing is not higher in the case of Aurora DB. Okay. How do we retrieve a specific data from a relation database? Is again, here also you can create a snapshot of a database and create a new database. Okay. David. Amazon, see, Amazon, there is nothing as Amazon Aurora. First of all, to be very clear, relational database, I will just mark it. We have a relational database service. This is a service offered. Okay, relation database service, RDS, which is a service. Relation database service, which is RDS. It is a AWS managed service which uses engine like MySQL, Aurora DB, Aurora engine. Aurora is also a database engine only. Aurora. We have Microsoft SQL. We have Postgres. So these are the engines which are being used. Okay, basically a server is there. Inside it, we can install it. Let's say I can install MySQL. I can download MySQL. See, I can download Aurora. I can do it as well, but AWS is doing it for me, and we call that service by which AWS is doing that particular task for me, and we call it as a relation database service. Oracle, we can use it. Yes. Oracle, MySQL, LIC. What is LIC? I'm really not sure about that, Gopal. You can use licensing. Yes, licensing can be used. Okay. If your company has a license, in that case, you can use that. Any other questions, guys? I think I've answered anyone questions I have not answered. Please say yes. Oh, sorry. Like, please do let me know. I think I've covered all the questions here. You got it, Shiva, right? Aurora, it's an engine. Engine means this is a service offered by AWS where it will create a server which is managed by AWS. I will not have access to this server where I can have Aurora installed in it. Okay, I can have a Aurora installed in that particular service. Now, no, it's a part of it, right? It's a part of it. It's a part of this RDS. I will show you that part. Now, if I go to, let me show you once. If I go to my EC2 machines, sorry, not my EC2, my AWS account. I'll show you in RDS what all type of databases engine which we have. See, if I will show you, I will repeat it, but just to show you, when I go to RDS, I'm creating a database and see. We have Aurora, MySQL, compatible Aurora DB, which is there, MySQL, MariaDB. We have Postgres, we have Oracle, we have Microsoft SQL, we have IBM DB2. So these are the engines which are there. Engines which are there. Okay. So what is Aurora? It's a enterprise class Postgres compatible database. So what are the benefits of using it? You can just click on the info and you can get that complete info when and why I should be using a specific type of database. This is what you're asking, right? You're saying that Amazon Data Aurora is also a database. I'm really not sure about it if we have it like that. Have anything in AWS? You're saying that, but we don't have it, and I have personally never used it. I've been working on this from like we are always using Aurora as a like as a database engine only, and you can see it's not there. I will just cross check it once if I'm wrong there. Okay, I will cross check, but you can also see it's not there. Like it should be, the service should be there, right? What should I search? RDS. It's coming RDS only. It's a part of RDS. Whenever I write Aurora, it's giving me an RDS only. You can see it's just opening RDS only for me, right? And only there's a documentation which is there. I will just cross check it once, Shiva. If I'm wrong, I will cross check it. No problem. Okay. Now, we can have a quick break, guys. I will just delete one of my this thing database snapshots. Everything here, it's a costly service. Do not keep your databases running up. We can have a break, and after the break, I will show you how we can actually work on it, how we can create a database altogether. It will really take some time here to complete this point. I think today, though, we will not be able to even complete it. So we will do it, some part of it tomorrow, some part of it today, and we will see how we can work on this MySQL. So let's have a break and let's continue after the break. Okay, guys, welcome back. Shall I complete the theory first, guys, talking about other database services, or shall I go ahead with the practicals? Please tell me, shall I go complete the theory today and then go ahead with the practicals, or do you want me to complete the theory? Like for non-relation also, I will show you the theory. Some other database services also, I will just show about it. I will write about them as well. If you want, we can do it in this way. So theory. Okay. I can, yeah, I also feel that if we cover the theory, next 2, 3 classes, only practicals will be there. So it will have a better understanding. I think most of you are saying theory only. Shishir, I hope that is fine. Okay, only Shishir, you said practicals. So let me just complete some little more theory. Okay. And then we will move to practicals. The only reason why I'm asking for theory is because we don't have that much time today. And RDS will take really long time. It will take at least 1 hour, at least 1 hour. Okay. Now, the second type of database, okay. Second type of database is a non-relation, is a non-relational database. Non-relation database. What is a non-relation database? The database which does not have any proper structure is a non-relational database. Okay. The database which does not have any structure. So used for some unstructured, or so we are using a non-relational database. It is used for unstructured, sorry, used for unstructured database data. Like if you have the data in some document, key pair values, white column stores, and all those things. What does it do? It provides a flexibility for dealing with big data and high traffic applications. So it will provide flexibility for dealing with big data. If you have a lot of data, big data and high traffic application. Traffic application. Majorly, I will be going ahead and using the non-relational database where I am, the database is dynamic, or data is dynamic. Sometimes some other kind of data is coming to me. Sometimes some other kind of data is coming to me. For example, I'm asking, what are your hobbies? So some people are putting only one hobby. Some are putting 5 hobbies. Some are putting 10 hobbies. Some are putting 100 hobbies. Okay. Some are also putting other details about it. Like say in hobbies also, let's say dancing. In dancing, I like this Western dance. So that kind of data should also be managed. So in that case, we will be going ahead with a non-relation databases. And if I take an example on non-relation database, we have MongoDB, which is a document-based database. Document-based database. You don't have to learn these databases, it's not required as a solution architect. I'm just telling you so that whenever a developer is talking to you, you should understand his terms. Cassandra, very commonly used. It's a wide column. I will tell you what is a wide column store database. Cassandra. Okay. Then we have Redis. If you have heard about it, very common. It's a key store, key value store. So here we use AWS management most of the time, which is DynamoDB. If you're working on AWS, we use DynamoDB, which is AWS managed database, which is a key store database. Then we have Neo4j, which is a graph database. So these are some of the examples of the databases which is there. or I can mention here, I don't have space much, so I will write AWS managed. AWS managed. Okay. Now, okay. So the database which does not have any proper structure. So if I talk about a case study of a database, when I'm talking about a non-relation database, a case study of a non-relation database, I can simply say, let's take an example. Like you own a company which is a social media company. You own a company, this is a social media company like FB in.com. This is a company you own, like Facebook. Okay. Now, what is happening is, okay. Now, in this database, in this FB India int.com, it is one of the social media application that will allow users to post their status, upload the images. People can post the status. People can upload the images, follow other users, whatever you do in your social media. Okay. So this platform must handle massive amount of user generated content. It could be like some people are putting line content. Some people are putting status as well as image. Some people are putting status images and some polls as well. So it's a user generated content which is there. And the relationships between user, like such as followers and the connections is there. And the data is unstructured, completely non-structured with the rapid growth. And like with the rapid growth of this company, it must be very scalable, and it should support millions of concurrent users as well for it. So I have a data which is coming to me, which is in a non-structured database or non-structured format. And in such situation, I should be going ahead with a no SQL database. Herein, my developer can actually use MongoDB, or you can use DynamoDB as well. That is absolutely fine. Okay. So by adapting a NoSQL, this FB India was able to scale rapidly, handling millions of posts and user interactions on the daily basis. And how does it help out? First of all, this NoSQL database provides with a flexibility. It allows to store like unstructured data, like different type of post with various formats. It could be different formats in which it can save. In the case of relation, my format need to be same. The structure, the schema need to be same. But here the structure could be anything. So I can say it is used to store, okay, it is used to store structured data such as different types of post with various formats. It provides you with that flexibility. It has the scalability. Scalability, like it can scale. When the database will increase, size will increase, the overall database size will also increase. So when your data will increase, your database size will also increase. So when your data size increases, your database size will also increase. It comes with high throughput. All these things is very common in your certification exams, these pointers. throughput. It comes with a high throughput. Okay. It provides better application. It provides better performance for the application that requires fast read and write. Okay, because overall size of MySQL, or sorry, NoSQL, is little smaller than MySQL, or I can say the relation databases. So it provides you with better performance. Okay, and you have that schema flexibility. Schema schema flexibility. Okay, so when you want to later on change the schema, the structure of the database, you can directly do it without even a single concern. Okay, so in this particular way, or in these situations, I should be going ahead and I will be using the non-SQL or no SQL database. If I talk about one of the use cases which I have personally used in my company. So when I was working for Netflix, right now also I think it is happening up. I'm not sure about it. But we used to conduct a like a particular, we can say, a poll kind of thing for the people. Let's say whenever person opens the application, okay, on the top, that person has to fill up a poll. So in that poll, we used to ask some questions. Let's say, for example, which is your favorite series, web series? And we ask questions about the web series, and the person has to answer the questions on that basis. And the people should also be able to, let's say, put some pictures, photos with watching that series on the television. People can also make some stories across it. So this kind of a fun activity which we used to conduct, and people used to really invest a lot of time there. They enjoy doing that task. I don't know how why, but they love doing that particular task. And we used to get like not millions, but yeah, thousands of entries on the daily basis. In such cases, we were using a non-SQL database because overall my structure was not fixed. Okay. And some people, like whenever they put an entry, it could be different structure. They are putting up the entries. Some formats are different. Some people are putting videos, some are putting images, some are putting the any other format. In those cases, the non-SQL database is something which is useful. Are you understanding? Please confirm yes or no. Okay. Please take a note of it. Shall I delete the screen now? Now, the one which we are going to do in our class, in the case of relation database, the one which we are going to confirm or we are going to do it in our class is the Amazon DynamoDB. It's a AWS managed data non-relation database, Amazon DynamoDB. So it is basically a fully managed, it's a fully managed NoSQL, which is fully managed with AWS managed NoSQL database service provided by AWS. I will show you my Netflix case study here. Provided by AWS, designed to offer high availability, low latency, and scalability for application that requires that requires fast and predictable performance with flexible data model. Flexible data models. Okay. So whenever you want to go for high availability, low latency, and scalability, because AWS is managing this complete database for you, you can go with the Amazon DynamoDB. It is in the most easy way I can say it is in the form of rows and columns. Rows and column like relation database, but the structure is not fixed. But structure is not fixed, which means if there is a new entry coming up with some extra columns, that can be taken care of. So what happens in the case of DynamoDB is, let's say this is my DynamoDB table. I've created a table. It will have, let's say, it will have a primary key that is mandatory. It will have a primary key, which is nothing but a, we can say a unique key, unique number will always be there just for identification purpose. Let's say one name is Akshat. Okay. Job is trainer. There's a new entry which is being coming up, which says, let's say John, which has a salary is, let's say, $20,000. Then we have, let's say, some extra content is also there. Let's say we have the state or country is India, let's say. Now, if I'm trying to put it, if I try to put this data in relation database, I cannot put this entry. But here, if I try to put this entry, it will simply put this entry saying that salary and this will be null. Okay, blank. This will be blank. So automatically, there's only one table, and in the one table itself, it will keep adding up the new columns as per the need and the requirement. So the DynamoDB is completely AWS managed database. Okay. But it does not have the rigid schema of traditional relation database. The structure is fixed. Structure is not fixed. New columns are added up as per new columns was added as per requirement. Hope you understood it. Please confirm. Please confirm yes or no. Now, DynamoDB is serverless architecture. It follows serverless architecture. Now, what is a serverless architecture? You don't have to worry about provisioning, some patching, some updates, or managing the server. AWS will take care of the underlying infrastructure. So I will talk about it just a minute. Can I delete it? Yes or no? So it's not structured, but fully or structured, not fully. You're talking about semi-structured. So semi-structured and unstructured database is being handled by DynamoDB. Okay. And structured database is being taken care by RDS Nitish. Okay. I'm deleting the screen now. Now, one more thing which is being asked in the interviews as well as in your exams is about, is DynamoDB is serverless. It's a serverless architecture. Okay, is DynamoDB a serverless architecture? So yes, DynamoDB it follows serverless architecture. When I say serverless, it means that the servers are managed by AWS. It's not possible to run anything without a server, but AWS manages those servers. So what happens is DynamoDB is fully managed by AWS. DynamoDB is fully managed, okay, by AWS. And with serverless, with serverless, it means that we don't have to worry about, okay, provisioning of provisioning of any servers. We don't have to worry about updates or managing the server. AWS will do it for you. For you, its server does not even exist. For you, it's a serverless. But on the backend, there is a server which AWS is managing. So that's the reason we call it as a serverless architecture. This is a very common. You might get this question in your certification or in your interviews. They might ask you this part to see if you have actually worked on it or not. Okay. You got it? Please confirm yes or no. There is one more thing which is Redshift. Okay, I'm not deleting it. Take a note of it. This is an interview question. Please put it because very frequently you will get it in your interviews. I will give you a very important assessment today, guys. You have to please do it. If you don't not able to get it, how to do it, I will show you in the next class. We have a next one, which is Redshift. DynamoDB is owned by AWS. Absolutely correct, Ernest. It is AWS service. It's a AWS owned service. Let me tell you. Let me show you. Whatever is owned by AWS, no. Whenever you go to this location and if you write that service, it should come. Manage NoSQL database service. Okay. Now we have Redshift. Now Redshift is actually, it's not required in the case of solution architect at all. It comes up at a later stage, let's say in development also little bit is there. But when you move up in the ladder, wherein you have to work on the data warehousing, where you have a big data in analytics, where you have a big data and you have to manage that big data, which is there you can go ahead and use the Redshift. So it is basically, it is a cloud-based, okay, data warehousing service, which is offered by AWS. Okay. It is designed it is designed for large scale data analytics. The profile itself is completely different when you're using the Redshift, I'm just giving you a theory so that you have that understanding. It is designed for large scale data analytics and is optimized for complex querying and reporting the task. Okay. So when you have a large kind of a database, you have a lot of data which is coming up. Okay. Which is coming up to you. At that point of time, you need a warehousing service where you can save your data and manage it. So that kind of service we use Redshift. Okay. So when you're working on very complex application where millions of data which you need to analyze also. So there the Redshift is being used. Okay. It's a very, very costly service. If you're creating a Redshift and if you leave it like that, you will have like thousands of dollars bill, like just like that. It's a very costly service. One of the costliest services of AWS. Okay. It is designed for large scale data analytics. So when you have a very huge data coming up, like millions of data, I will take an example. Okay. So uh, we were like in Netflix, we were checking the logs. Okay. I cannot talk about my current company, guys. It's against the policies of the company. I hope you can understand. That's the reason I'm talking about Netflix. Okay. So in Netflix, there were like we used to get they divided Netflix into zones. Okay. So like there was a Netflix India, which was there, US was there, Canada was there. So they were divided, Netflix was being divided into zones. So I was working for India zone. So wherein whenever we used to take up the logs used to come up. Let's suppose I will take an example. You love watching Friends web series. Okay. Then we will take up your logs. Your logs are being generated. Every day, I'm pretty sure everyone opens who has a Netflix subscription, opens it for 5 times every day. Start watching it, then close it. Like you are eating food, you're watching it, and do it happens very regularly. So we track on the back end, Netflix tracks that what exactly you're doing. And all the logs, because there are thousands and thousands of logs are there. Someone even watched 10 series, even what at for how much duration you have watched a particular series or a movie, that is also tracked. And accordingly, we analyze that data. Let's say Akshat is watching Friends, which is a comedy genre. Okay, which is basically a comedy series. Akshat is watching some, let's say 911. There's one more series, which is basically a crime thriller. Let's suppose. Akshat is watching 2, 3 more things. But Akshat is spending around 90% of time on the comedy, 5% on time on this on a daily basis, and 2% on other things, and 3% on other things. Let's say 5% on other things. So that data, it's a huge data because millions of people have that subscription right now, and they are doing millions of every day. Everyone at least opens it once. So there is like millions of activity happens, and there are millions of logs which are generated. No, I cannot put them in the database, right? This logs also, I don't, every day change. No, today Akshat is in a bad mood. He's watching something which is very serious. Tomorrow he's in a good mood. He's watching something which is a very good comedy or something like that. It can also change. Ideally, I should not be saving it in some database or any some like I should not be managing it, right? So in those cases, I can put this into some data warehousing. I can put this warehouse where I have a millions of activities is being put into some data warehousing service, which, okay, and later on, this data can be utilized. I can use some tools like Athena or like there are other tools which are there by which I can analyze this data. My analytics team can analyze this particular data. So it is designed for large scale data analytics, and it is optimized for complex querying and reporting the task. So I can query this data and I can get the data. Like say, for example, I want to filter out people who are watching comedy 80% of the times, so that I can later on send them the marketing stuff. Okay, when I'm sending them some marketing campaign, my focus should be that this person likes comedy. If I send him something which he does not like, it's a negative impact for the company. So just think of it. So many things happen in the company right now. It might be very difficult for you to grasp all these things, but these things happen in every company, in every project. So at the point of time, you have to understand these things. You don't have to understand how it is being done, but the process need to understand when you will climb on the ladder, when you will become manager, senior manager, you need to understand all these stuff. Are you getting it? Please confirm yes or no. Everyone is getting it. This point you have understood. This is one of the use case which I am using, which I have used previously. And this was happening up in all the companies I have worked with. All the companies right now also it is happening, but I cannot disclose about Amazon right now because again, it's against the policies of my company. Okay, we cannot talk about what is happening currently. And it's a recorded session. You got it? Please confirm. So when I talk about some of the key features of Redshift, okay, when I talk about some of the key features of Redshift, now key features include, it will come up with the data warehousing. It comes with the data warehousing, which is there. Data warehousing is basically, it is designed, this data, when I say Redshift, it is designed for OLAP. So Redshift, please take a note of all these things. Redshift is designed for OLAP, which is online analytics. Okay, online analytics processing. Online analytics process. Okay, workloads which focus on complex querying, which focus on complex querying or and reporting and analytics across large volume of data, and analytics across a large volume of data. Okay, so what does it do? It basically allows organization to analyze the massive amount of structured and semi-structured data quickly. So it allows organization to analyze massive amount. The example which I gave you, where we are getting logs, massive number of logs we are getting right now. Okay, one of my friend, I had a recent conversation with me. He told me we are getting more than 25 million logs on the daily basis. I cannot put them in a database, so cost will increase drastically. But here I can use it and put it in the Redshift. So it allows the organization to analyze massive amounts of structured or non-structured, or I can just see database, structure of data, amounts of data quickly. So there I can use, majorly used by the analytics team, which are this completely different teams which are there in the companies. Are you able to understand? Yes or no? I hope everyone is getting it. Please say yes or no. Now the labs which we are going to perform is basically in first of all, we will create a we will create an RDS. We'll create an RDS server, RDS, where we can install Aurora. It's fine. Anything you can install, MySQL, Aurora, or any other thing. So Aurora, every process of for every kind of database engine will remain the same. You will be creating a database engine. You will install the data, it will install it automatically. So we will create a service. Okay, we will create a service named as RDS. And then we are going to connect it from the EC2 machine. We are going to connect it to the EC2 machine. Okay, which this is what we will do it in RDS. In the case of DynamoDB, I will show you a Netflix case study. Netflix case study. Where we will, from the EC2 machine, let's say, we are writing some data. So we can insert some data into the DynamoDB and we can retrieve the data also from DynamoDB. So I'm filling up some form, which is where we have some dynamic entries. So we can input the data to the DynamoDB. Okay. Okay. And then we can retrieve the data as well from the DynamoDB itself. So this is something which we are going to do. Okay. Getting it? Yes or no? Okay. So we have a question coming from Ernest. Redshift is AWS offering for OLAP business, OLAP business case. What is the offering for OLTP? Okay. The AWS offering for OLTP use case would be Amazon RDS, wherein RDS will support multiple relation database engines like MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, and MariaDB. And another option for NoSQL OLTP workload is Amazon DynamoDB, which is a fully managed NoSQL database that optimized for real high traffic real time application. Okay. Okay. I think we can do the labs tomorrow. Now, for next two classes, there will not be any theory, guys. We have completed the theory. Whatever I have given you, that is sufficient to clear any kind of, we can say any kind of questions. But yes, when I will explain you these things, let's say, when I will talk about these databases, I will be explaining you the concepts like, for example, what is this multi-AZ? There's a concept of multi-AZ which is there. Here it will come up. Where it has gone. There's a concept of multi-AZ which is there. Okay, that concept I will be covering it. I will explain you. I will talk about read replicas as well. So these are the things I will talk about so that you have a better understanding. Okay. Here we can retrieve who access what kind of movies, how many times. In example, is there any privacy policy regulation applicable where they store our personal data? See, all these companies are being approved from ICMPs, IC map something, some privacy. There's a security compliance team, which is a separate team, which take care of that complete settings of the security certifications and all those things that is being taken care by a separate team. Okay, I really cannot recall the name of that particular like a particular certificate which is required whenever you're saving some personal data of the users. Every company need it. Okay, whenever a company, let's say Amazon also have that certificate, that is basically a proper validation proof saying that we are managing the particular data of the users in a proper way. Okay, David. So this is being taken care of, and whenever you sign up, you might have seen there is read terms and condition is there. You have to approve that terms and condition to sign up. So in that is basically saying that they are allowed to use your personal data. You might have seen it in a lot of places, it is there. Okay. So yeah. So I think guys, we can continue it tomorrow. I hope you have liked the session for today. Please revise the concepts, and we will meet it tomorrow. We will meet again tomorrow. Okay. And okay. Assignment. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, sorry. I forgot the assignment. So what I need you to do is I want to access S3 bucket from internet, from EC2 machine without internet. There is no internet inside that machine. I want to access the EC2 machine need to be connected to the S3 bucket. And from here, I can see what are the objects which is there. I can create an object inside it. All those things I should be able to do it. So I want to access S3 bucket from the EC2 machine without the internet. And so here the tools which we are going to use is we will create an EC2 machine. You need an EC2 machine. I'm giving you the answer only, but yeah, fine. It's an IAM role which you are going to create, and you need an S3 bucket. So what you will do, let me tell you the hint also. So what you will going to do is you will create S3, you will create EC2, you will create an IAM role. You will create an IAM role for EC2 to access S3. You will not be using without internet or access keys. Otherwise, you can directly write AWS configure and access it. No, we don't want that. IAM role for EC2 to access S3. This, okay. And when you get inside it, what you will do, you have to attach that IAM role. Attach the IAM role to EC2. We will be attaching the IAM role to this particular EC2 machine. So I have a S3 bucket. I have a EC2. I will attach that IAM role. So now EC2 machine has an access to S3 bucket. So we will create an IAM role, create and attach it to the EC2. And then when you write AWS S3 LS, it will list all the buckets for you, which means I'm able to talk to the S3. Okay. Are you able to get it? Please confirm yes or no. Got the question, every one of you? Anyone has any confusion, please try to do it. It's a very, very common interview question. Very common. Like, I have personally seen people are still asking me this particular question. A lot of people, like, personally speaking, every year whenever I'm giving interviews, 2 or 3 times, so I have to give the answer to this question. If you're joining as a fresher or with a less experience in AWS, you will have it more frequently. So this is a very important interview question. I think that would be all for today, guys. So thank you. Take care. Have a nice day. Let's speak tomorrow.